Liam.
Sure are. Yeah, how do I sound? Do I sound good to you?
You sound
good.
Try to get into the habit. Try to get into the habit of if you're going to
satisfied.
be sniffing or coughing, try to hit mute. Like that.
Yeah, just
Except
like
don't
that.
do that.
Okay.
Liam does really look like Hermie, though.
Yeah, I was before we hopped on, Jake. I was showing Fitz if I wear like a beanie like this with like the hair pushed
you look like a gay millennial from 2012.
like Hermie from Rudolph.
We were saying he looks like an elf from a Christmas special, Jake.
Oh, okay,
but
that too, I guess.
that too.
Yeah, that too. Sure.
We're asking why he wasn't at elf practice, things of that nature. Why he wants to be a dentist. Yep.
That's right. Love teeth.
But yeah, but that's what we should have named our StreamYard names here instead of Josh Rutledge, a.k.a. Fitz, just Tim Turner, a.k.a. Liam, and Justin Turner, I guess, a.k.a. Jake. It should have been Jake Bumbles, Liam, Hermie.
Who's Bumbles?
The Abominable Snowman.
Oh, that's
Bounce! Yeah, he loses his teeth.
Yeah, he's the Bumble.
Oh, I always just said the Abominable Snowman.
Yukon Cornelius, a.k.a.
Do you guys like him, or do you like the one in Monsters, Inc. more?
Oh, the one in Monsters Inc. has snow cones.
He does. I was going to say I like the Monsters, Inc. one more, for sure.
Welcome to the Himalaya.
That's my guy, John Ratzenberger. That's his... He's in
like every
movie.
Pixar movie, isn't he?
That's right. Yes, Fitz.
Isn't he Bootstraps?
He's also in Cheers.
Yes, he is. Isn't he Bootstraps?
Oh.
Did I ruin it?
Oh, no.
Someone look that up. I like the Abominable Snowman in Rudolph, though. I don't know. What's the opposite of a heel turn? A hero turn? You know, it's...
Yeah.
People can change. He's not a piece of shit anymore. He used to be a piece of shit.
Oh, John...
Oh, boy. Here we go. John Ratzenberger.
John Ratzenberger referred to the 2000 healthcare reform bill as socialism.
Oh, boy.
Welcome to the U.S. Capitol!
Oh, brother. Oh, but he does fuck with the U.S. Postal Service, which makes sense because...
Oh, hell yeah.
Helps.
His character was... Cliff on Cheers was a postman.
He's no Newman, though, from Seinfeld, because he worked for the Postal Service, too.
He did.
Shout out to the Postal Service, man. Big props to them, especially this time of year. We love the Postal Service.
We sure do.
That's why Pixar stopped using John Ratzenberger.
Because he was in Washington, D.C. on January 6th.
Well, I do think he's not in every Pixar movie anymore.
What was the most recent Pixar joint?
Let me Fitz.
A Strange World,
Fitz,
right?
Fitz, I'm
or is
checking
that
right
just
now.
Disney?
I think that was straight Disney.
That was just Disney, yeah. Here.
I do like that Gyllenhaal clip on their where they're on like the press tour.
Oh, he's
like,
very
we live in
high.
a pretty strange world too.
It was just silent. So good.
Yeah, they dropped his ass, John.
So what was the
Really?
last thing he was in?
Well, maybe not. Wait, was he in Turning Red? No. So
but he wasn't turning red. He already was red.
Nice. Fitz. Yeah, he's done. He's out.
Turning Point.
Yeah,
Turning.
Oh, nice. That was good, Liam.
I just think we need to count the votes again. Like him in that very distinct voice, giving Tucker Carlson talking points.
Nice.
Folks, is that anything? Is that anything at all? No.
I don't know.
Well, this is Pod on Lansdowne, in case
This
you
is.
weren't aware when you hit play on this here podcast.
I don't know why you would be aware, quite frankly. And nothing we just spoke about would have cued you into what this
has
was.
anything to do with.
Imagine
with
playing
this
that
show.
podcast for your friend, hitting pause.
Be like, guys,
what are they
get a-
supposed
get
to
a-
be talking about?
Get a hold of this.
It's gonna
What are
get
they being
good.
paid to talk
just
about?
Give it a second.
Yeah, right.
Just give them another minute.
Like politics? No. Red Sox baseball is usually what they're supposed to be on about. Which we did have some Red Sox news to get to this week, but first and foremost, we're happy you could be here. If you are new-ish to the podcast, if, for instance, you're new since making the jump over to Daddy Vox, onto SB Nation, onto Over the Monster, first of all, welcome. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Second of all, why don't you go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter at Pod on Lansdowne. We can be found there. At Jake Wallinger can be found on Twitter. At Fitzimopania can be found on Twitter. at @LiamFantasy_ can be found on Twitter as well. That's all three of our little handles there for the old Bird app. Go and follow us there before it at some point collapses, because it will. I don't know when that's going to be, but we all thought it was going to be a couple months ago. And we're playing with house money there on the Bird app. So get it while the getting's good, basically. Couple big things in Red Sox news to talk about as we approach Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, by the way.
Thank you, Fitz.
Our resident Jewish co-host, Jake. Shout out to him. I keep quoting that Simpsons bit with Krusty the Clown. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, have a quasi Kwanzaa, a tip-tot-tet, and a solemn and dignified Ramadan. That you got to cover all the bases this time of year. In any event, which way, Western Man? We got two big neat pieces of news. We have one related to your StreamYard names, as I outlined earlier. Then one regarding another guy who plays third base, another guy who is associated with the Boston Red Sox. Liam, which way do we want to go first? Do we want to go with that's a positive development news, or do we want to go with no, this is really bad potentially news? Which way do we want to go?
Let's get the good out of the way, because let's get the good out of the way.
Yeah, because I mean, we can
ask
go on
you,
about the bad.
Jake.
We can go on about the bad.
Fitz, that's
all
anti-Semitic and it's Hanukkah.
In that case, yes. Let's get the good news out of the way first. Do we want to go with that?
Yeah, it's our hot corner special. Justin Turner.
Yeah, this is all about third base. Justin Turner, welcome to the Boston Red Sox. Reportedly signing a deal with the Red Sox. Presumably going to be playing some DH, I'd imagine. Could platoon at third or at first base in a pinch. Gives a little bit of flexibility for the team. I saw this, and I was like, sure, fine. Looking into a little bit more, though, the more I liked the deal. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but after doing a little bit of digging,
I really like it. I
know
really
he's
like
older,
it.
but it's a short-term sort of a deal. It's fine enough for the middle part of your lineup, at him like sixth or something like that. I think he'll be fine. I think he could be a solid addition. Jake, you say you're a big fan.
I am. And there was a lot of people. What day did he sign? I want to say Sunday.
Sunday.
So Sunday, you were getting a lot of knee-jerk reactions like, "Oh, why didn't we just pay JD then?" But what those people are neglecting to mention or acknowledge is JD was probably the worst defensive player I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, not great.
And Justin Turner, on the other hand, is capable of playing the field, which is a nice advantage that Alex Cora has spoken to several times, that he would like whoever was going to DH this year. Well, he doesn't. Well, two things. One, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be like a traditional. Like JD was. There's not that many traditional DHs anymore. It's kind of a dying breed. Like, you like to have some positional flexibility. And that kind of seems like what they're leaning to. I think they can DH Yoshida. They can DH Turner. They can DH.
Give people off days when.
Yeah, they want to give Devers days at DH, get him off his feet a little bit. So I think they're going to lean more towards that. And that's a nice advantage to have, like not having to worry about having a roster. Not that JD was a waste of a roster spot, because he was a good hitter. But I think he, the downward trajectory of his bat the last 2-3 years, I think at some point they decided, well, if he's not going to OPS 900, we'd rather get somebody that can play a little defense too. Like 3 years ago, you say, "Oh, JD, I don't care if you can play defense or not. You mash." But
that's when he was winning 2 Silver Slugger awards.
Yes, but it would not. They would seem those days are behind him. He's still a useful player, but not like not like a Silver Slugger kind of thing. So I think that's kind of what they were going for.
Couple things jump out to me, Liam, when I look at Justin Turner. Again, when I first saw it, I was like, that's like, feels like he's 500 years old. He looks like Tormund from Game of Thrones. That's nice, but, does he really still have anything in the tank? The answer would be yes. I don't think I even really realized this at first, Liam. One of the things that jumped out looking into it, Justin Turner, his first half, 84 games. Now, granted, that must have been hurt a little bit in the second half, and it's a smaller sample size. Just keep that in mind when I give you the rest of the stat. But first half stats, 8 home runs, 51 RBI in that sort of a lineup. Like, fine, 331 on base, 734 OPS.
He had 50 RBIs in the first half?
Yeah.
Did we have? I mean,
There's
who led the
that was
Red
probably,
Sox in
like,
RBIs the
third
whole
or fourth
season?
team on the team last year.
Yeah, true. That's fair.
wait,
108 OPS plus, or SOPS plus, whatever that it must have been. Split OPS. Yeah, that has to have. Is that what the OPS plus has to stand for? It must. Split OPS plus during the
Red
first
Sox
half.
had 5 guys with over 50 RBIs the entire season.
That's tough.
Wow. That's
And they
tough.
they had 1 guy with more than 75.
Yuck.
That's ugly.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, SBO's OPS plus is OPS for split relative to the league's split OPS. So there you go. Second half, only 44 games. Keep that in mind. 5 home runs as opposed to 8, sure. 30 RBI, sure. 152 OPS plus. My man got on base at a 386 clip, 319 average, 889 OPS. Now, granted, you can't totally be expected to extrapolate that over an entire season, Liam, but that's definitely some signs of life. Again, smaller sample size, but 50 games of that, that's something that you could take a risk on.
Yeah, no, I look at Turner and I look at JD, and it's sort of the same way Jake was saying. While the bats are probably in the same spot as they're like aging guys, Turner fits the team far better than JD did or Hosmer did, because both your corners are lefties.
Oh, we should talk. I totally forgot about the Hosmer thing.
But no,
Who cares?
People were freaking out about Hosmer, and then JD signs with LA. But like, our outfield was already a mess last year. We don't need a pure DH to maybe play some left field when apparently Yoshi's not that great of a fielder anyway out there.
Yeah. Do we know if JD played any outfield last year?
I don't think he did.
Here,
to be completely honest.
You want to look that up, Jake?
Yeah. No, he didn't. He didn't play 1 inning in the field last year.
Well, it's probably because in game 162 in 2021, when he was running out to the field, he hurt himself.
Yeah, and he slipped up.
Remember that? Yeah.
And had to come out.
He missed the wild card game.
Yeah, he he was injured taking his position.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So that's never a good sign.
Yeah.
Never again. Not even going to risk it from there on out. Not to take away from the Turner thing, but quickly about Hosmer. I think the Hosmer situation, and this is genuine confusion, because if there is an explanation to it, I genuinely would like to hear what it is. Why put Eric Hosmer? Why give him the 40-man protection from Rule 5 when you had some other guys that could have been protected from the Rule 5 draft? Why include Eric Hosmer on the 40-man roster by that deadline if you were just going to turn around a couple weeks later and say sayonara to him? Were they trying to trade him? That must have been it. That's
a good point.
I mean, Heim said they were trying to trade him all off.
Yeah, nobody wanted him.
I mean, they got that kid, I guess Wyatt Mills from Kansas City.
Oh yeah,
Not for
I
Hosmer.
remember briefly seeing that. Hand up, Liam. I got to be honest with you. I follow the team very closely. I follow baseball very closely in general. I could not, other than what his first and last name are.
Where they just got.
No, you're right. We did trade for a guy named Wyatt Mills, but
Yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about him outside that he played for the Royals. He's a pitcher. I think he's a pitcher.
Yeah.
And his first name and last name is Wyatt Mills.
We traded pitching prospect Jacob Wallace.
I thought you were going to say Jacob Wallinger for a second.
Nope.
I thought
That's me.
I don't know why I was pairing the Hosmer. DFA
Well, Hosmer was
with Wyatt
DFA'd to
Mills.
make room for Wyatt Mills.
Okay, so
But they were two
that's
separate.
where I got
It
that.
was two.
Anyway, I mean, I'd rather replace a left-handed first baseman with maybe something in the bullpen. I don't know. I mean, you already have your starting first baseman for the year, so I don't know why we're fretting.
That's
over
right.
The
That's right.
26th
at the very least,
spot
you got
on
a
the
guy that could
roster.
platoon there with Turner.
Right, like. Just,
One thing
Anyone can play first. We know this. As Red Sox fans,
tell 'em, Wash.
we know this.
Multiple examples of this, of course.
Yeah.
Franchi Cordero, 100%.
Fresh
Bobby
Cordero, Hanley
Dahlbeck.
Ramirez, Kyle Schwarber, Bobby Dahlbeck. I mean, guys, the list goes on.
One thing I do like about Justin Turner's game, and I forget who brought this up specifically, and I feel bad because I don't remember who it was. Someone brought it up on Twitter. I don't know if it was stats.
Was it his spray chart over Fenway? From Savant?
Yo, but he would rake low.
Yo, he'll mash.
He'll mash.
He'll
Yeah.
mash.
Eye emojis. And that's me blowing steam out of my
the
nose.
smoke coming out of the nose
Yeah.
emoji. Yeah.
He'll mash.
Bottom 5 least favorite emoji in there. The steam coming out of the nose, the smoke. I can't stand. I don't know what it just rubs me the wrong way. Not much swing and miss in Justin Turner's game. 77th percentile. Jeez, I can't speak today. Percentile according to Savant in whiff percentage. 78th percentile in K rate. 65th in chase rate. Generally speaking, a very good approach at the plate. Even the older that you get in baseball, maybe you lose some of that pop. Sure, not that Justin Turner is going to be hitting 30 home runs in this lineup, but he always seems to have a good approach at the plate. And hopefully that can carry over to the rest of the lineup. Maybe, that sparks something there, because I feel like there was a lot of swing and miss in the Red Sox game last year, and someone pointed that out, that they were towards the bottom third or so of the league. Again, I don't have the exact tweet or stat in front of me. My apologies. You're just going to have to, take my word for it. Or maybe I was hallucinating the entire time, Liam. Maybe they were great at swing and miss.
Prepared.
Just watching enough of it from last year, though, they did have some frustrating stretches at the plate.
Their offensive approach last year was a fucking nightmare.
So I wasn't imagining it. This is good. I'm not being gaslit.
Well, I mean, they got on base. Remember, there was they would load the bases religiously, and then JD would come up and ground into a double play.
Yeah,
and
right.
Nothing else would come from it.
Oh, but again, Justin Turner.
Justin Turner, welcome.
I'm a
Good
fan.
for the vibes. Kike's excited.
Kike's very excited. Him and Kenley being back.
Yeah, we're just Dodgers and Red Sox. We love
I
just
tweeted
swapping
this,
players.
but there was that whole thing when Kike signed the 1-year extension last summer, and he said to the media that Heim promised him the team would be better this year. And it seems like that may have just meant that Heim was going to bring in Kike's boys. And you know what? That seems like it's good enough for Kike. He's been
experience.
He's happy.
He's been ecstatic on Twitter and Instagram. He's tweeting smiley face. His Instagram story 2 days ago was like 8 different posts of him and Justin Turner hugging.
Hey. That's
Remember what I said?
I mean, vibes are important. I'm not going to sit here and act like vibes aren't important.
Yeah.
2013, that was not an overly talented roster, but they pretty much vibed their way to a World Series.
They goofed their way to a title.
They really. I'm not even being funny. That I still today think that's the worst World Series winning team of the last 30 years.
06 Cardinals.
No, I disagree.
They won like
What?
84
They won
games.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean just like the pure talent on the roster.
Well, all those guys just had career years. Like for that year, you can't say like, oh, they were just like not.
Yeah, but
a
I mean
good
the
team.
06 Cardinals had like 4 Hall of Famers on the team. What did we have? We had
Yeah, they didn't even win like 85 games.
I know what I'm saying. The actual talent on the roster fits. I'm not saying how they.
I get where Jake's coming from, because I mean, going back before the Tiger series and the Cardinal series, I was like, no, those on paper, those other.
Oh,
teams
I thought we matched up well
better.
against the Cardinals. Actually, the Tigers, I was pretty much.
The Tigers, I was terrified of.
Yeah, that was like that's curtains. I was like, oh, the ALDS was fun, and we'll see you next year.
That just amounted to a bunch of guys having a career year.
But then we ran into the old Dombrowski bullpen. That's what we ran into.
Albuquerque, Joaquin Benoit.
Joaquin Benoit. That's right.
Benoit. Who gave up the grand slam to Victorino?
Benoit.
No,
to Victorino.
To Victorino, yeah. He kept throwing these like lazy.
It was a righty. It was
that Albuquerque?
No,
it wasn't Albuquerque. It was like an older guy.
He was white and bald, right?
No, he was a Latino gentleman.
Victorino's was?
Yeah, I could have swore he hit it off.
Well, hold on, I've got it right here. I've got the numbers right here.
The numbers right here.
Jake says white ball. Turns out nope. Black guy with hair all the way down like to his shoulder is like the exact opposite of what he just said.
Who the fuck is that? Wait, hold on. I can't even see his name. His wind-up's so weird.
Welcome to Pod on Land Sound, folks.
Yeah, you two keep talking.
Remember
Veras, Veras.
Oh, Jose Veras.
I guess. Was he on the Sox?
Not Lord Varys from Game of Thrones to keep with the Game of Thrones.
Was Jose Veras ever on the Sox?
I mean,
Doesn't ring a bell
was
for the Red Sox.
He was around for a long time.
He was a real journeyman.
No, it does not look like he pitched for us, though, Jake.
Okay.
I don't know if I ever brought it up on this here program before, but around this time during the 2013 ALCS, do you guys remember when someone called into Mike Francesa and wanted to talk about Al Albuquerque, and Francesa dead seriously was like, "What are you talking about, Al Albuquerque?" And he's like, "Yeah, the pitcher for the Tigers, Al Albuquerque." Mike, maybe I'll cut it in right here just to give the full audio. I'm not going to be able to do it justice.
The full experience.
Exactly, but he's like Al Albuquerque. That's not a real name. And he like hung up on him, and then 2 minutes later, his producer must have gotten in his ear and said, he comes back onto the air and goes, "Sorry, I never heard of this guy, but there is a guy whose name is Al Albuquerque." It's an all-time clip. I mean, Francesa has never, he's made his fair share of gaffes and contradictions and things like that. But that's just all-time. Just saying a guy straight up doesn't exist and whiffing on that claim, that's Zahn at his best, baby. Mike Zahn.
Yeah, so that's Justin Turner, I guess. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good fit for the team.
Yeah.
Of what there currently is of the team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I feel like we still have a long way to go. I hope
we have a long way to go.
This can't be it. This can't be all there is.
Is this all there is?
It can't be.
And not to stay a stick in the mud, but like again, like I mentioned last week, the reason why I was excited about Jansen, the reason why I was excited about Yoshi when it happened, and a reason why I would have been even more excited about Turner having found out like how good his second half of the season was, it would have been great supplemental pieces to have Bogaerts still in the middle of the lineup to go with Devers and then to go with all those other pieces.
I said this on last week's episode, but like the high I was at after the Jansen and Yoshida signings were like 2 hours apart, I think. And then I was like, oh man, all right, just a starter.
At the time, everything was like, it's just a matter of time with Bogaerts.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we are back, and then it was over. Just a couple hours later,
it was over by midnight.
Yep.
It's just these quick, like in a vacuum, like these aren't bad moves. It's not a bad move to get Justin Turner to help supplement the rest of the lineup. It's just looking at the big picture, it still seems so bleak, especially considering, and here's your transition, the Rafael Devers news that has dropped this week. June Lee reporting that the Red Sox and third baseman Rafael Devers are galaxies apart in negotiations. The report from Alex Spear saying that Raf will not be entertaining any offers after spring training once the season starts. Negotiations are
I actually like
put up to
that
the side for the season.
For my own health, I'm actually kind of glad it's that way.
Yeah, just get the answer. It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't.
It was
right?
like the Lindor thing a couple of years ago. It was like, I think he signed like at midnight before opening day. It was right on it.
Hard deadline.
Yeah, and it's I'm actually glad Devers set that because now, well, I mean, I am a firm believer in if he doesn't sign that day, trade him immediately because I don't want another 4th round pick for another franchise player. It's not good enough.
It's just bleak to know that doomsday clock continues to creep towards midnight. You know what I mean? That's just a bleak situation we're in right now.
Well, here are my thoughts. Obviously, they should pay Devers, but I don't think there's anything.
Watch Liam's like, no, they should.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything really original
that
the three of us can speak on as far as like the decision to pay him. But I was saying to my lovely girlfriend a couple hours ago, step back for a second and let's look at the trajectory of this team for the past few years. And I'm not sure the city has been as down on the Red Sox like since as they are right now since like pre-04, right?
It was pretty bad after 2012. It was during that whole ordeal. It was pretty bad. Post 2011 collapse.
So wait, how many years after 07? It's about the same, right? Was that
after 07?
Well, I'm thinking because we're 4 years removed from a World Series, so I feel like you always have a little bit of a grace period after that.
I think 5 years is a good general.
Yeah. Okay. So other than that, I mean, this is probably the second lowest moment of the 21st century, I would say.
Here's the thing about like the 07 team. It's not like they got rid of those guys like they're doing now. Like they added pieces. Like Lester was still there in 2011. Buckles was still there. Pedroia, Ellsbury, Ortiz.
13 for all those guys. Like, they consistently.
Like they're all still there.
They recognize that you have franchise players that you build around.
I just meant you can suck a couple years here and there after a World Series, and people will be like, "Oh, that's okay. We won a World Series," and it's not, and that's good. That's okay. That's why you win World Series. That's what you're going for. But I'm saying take a step back. You say they win in 18. 19, very mediocre team. That happens. What are you going to do? Then you trade the best player in the history of your franchise, probably. Then, one or two fits. You think he's not one or two?
Ever heard of JD Drew?
I was going to say. I mean, you're completely disrespecting Julio Lugo. May he rest in peace. No, but I'd say like two or three. I mean, Ted, I still think is probably the best player.
But then who's two if he's not two?
Pedro.
I disagree.
Pedro's like a top 5 pitcher.
I'd rather have a position player than a pitcher. Anyway,
give me somebody who plays every day.
Yeah. Okay. So 19, mediocre, whatever that happens. Trade your franchise player. 20, you're awful, but it's COVID. Nobody watched anyway. But still. 21, you have a nice little ALCS run, but then you do nothing to improve that team. Then you suck tremendous ass. 22. Let another franchise player walk.
That's a good summary of 2022.
So what I'm saying here is, say they are mediocre again this year, which I actually don't think the roster is that bad, but just in the division they're in, they're going to get walloped if they don't.
Yeah, but compared to the rest of the division, even up towards like Baltimore, like I think that's actually a good litmus test. Do you think this is a better roster right now than Baltimore?
Than Baltimore, yes.
I'd say yes, but I don't think it's. I don't think it's
that much better.
I don't think it's cut and dry. I could hear an argument like at points like for some check marks going towards Baltimore, and even if Baltimore makes some other improvements, which I don't think they're going to do this offseason. I think next offseason is when they really start to strike. But even then, like it's no disrespect to Baltimore. But I would say we have a better roster right now. But that's like, so what? Okay, you have the 4th best roster in the division. You know what I mean?
So what I'm saying is, so then I imagine if things stay the way they are, they're not a playoff team right now. They're probably sitting around 80, mid 80s wins. That's probably a little high. It's probably like 81, 82.
Tops.
Then here's my framing. Then you let another franchise player walk. I'm not sure. I mean, nobody would go to games next year. I don't think I'm being dramatic. Like that would. That's who would.
Why invest?
Who would
time?
invest in this team at that point? Like that is disaster after disaster.
The sickos at the bottom of the iceberg, to say, like, you talk about like a casual versus diehard sort of an iceberg understanding of like the sickos at the bottom drown, like at the bottom of the ocean floor where it's all dark, like you, me, like us three and the other sickos who will stay up until like 11:30 at night watching a gross extra inning game in Kansas City. Like, we're not going. It's the casual fans that really like.
A casual fan watches the 2018 World Series win 4 years ago, and they go, "Wow, look at this young, talented team."
It makes me want to get more into the baseball. I forgot how much I like it.
Fast forward 4 years, they're all gone. There's no one there. That's crazy. Like, what is this for? Like I can't even articulate it really, because it doesn't. Not signing any of them makes little sense.
It sends the message to your fans that you don't even bother getting attached, and I'm sure, Liam, you feel the same way. Don't bother getting attached to any of these guys, because if we don't get them at the exact price that we want to have them locked in at, they're gone. And it's the continued. I want to be very careful with my words here, because I think this line of thinking that's emerged over the last 25 years, like post Moneyball or so, I think it's provided a very efficient and an interesting and oftentimes good way of analyzing the skills of players and trying to, roster building, like a different way of approaching it. It's opened our eyes to a whole bunch of new things. These advanced stats that we use all the time, like Baseball Savant, like we use that all the time. OPS Plus, different ways to evaluate a player. I think it's a net positive, but I also think with that, Liam, and I don't know if you would agree with this, there's too much of an emphasis strictly on like the dollar value of a player, when in reality these contracts at the end of the day are not 100% transactional. It is not simply like you are just acquiring the services of these players. No, watching sports is not a strictly 100% transactional thing. There are people who follow these teams from generations to generations. These are people, it sounds too sentimental, I understand. It sounds too mushy. But this isn't strictly just about the value of one player or another. It's understanding that like you've built a culture around a team. You try to build long-term success with your own scouting. I don't know. This is sort of rambling. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but the overall point of it is that, like, I mean, if you're not going to pay any of these homegrown guys, then what's the point of even following long-term, basically? Does that make any sense? I know that was kind of a wandering point.
No, that makes no sense. Sorry.
Thank you.
No, but I know Fitz exactly where it's coming from. And, I mean, it does sound like cliche where you're like it's more than just a business. Like, is that
I think that's a better way of putting it.
Like, is it naive? Sure, but at the same time, like,
100%
it's not
naive.
just.
But it's
we're
true.
We're not just. I guess technically we are exchanging goods. It's entertainment.
Goods and services.
Goods and services are being exchanged, but at the same time, like, there is a different side to it that that I'm not sure the ownership group has ever really understood.
Yeah,
because I mean, you look at
Definitely,
Nomar.
the people making the decisions right now do not understand the. You can get like vibey guys in the clubhouse here and there, but all things considered, at the end of the day, the overarching point, in general, I don't think they understand a lot of the human parts.
Right.
Of all this. And again, it sounds mushy. I understand. I get that.
Well,
People are going to say,
I'll offer at least.
I mean, you can just look at the execs that they've run through. Like, Theo was, quote unquote, new age, Moneyball, analytics. Okay, they won. Awesome. Like, why change anything? Then Theo leaves. You stick with Sherrington. That's sort of like, he was basically a clone of Theo. Let's be honest. If you ever heard the guy talk, they sound exactly the same.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And they're like, okay, like, maybe this isn't going so great. You bring in Dave, who's just like, I'll spend money, we'll win. Oh, it worked, great. And then he jumps ship. Now you got Heim again, who's, I feel like we're just, it's the same pattern with these guys. It's like they want to be innovative and they would like to win, but I don't think they grasp like the fan base. Like, I don't think they just.
Well, first of all, I don't think
it's an investment. It's an investment for them. Whatever. Like, cool. It's great, but.
Well,
now I'm sounding very naive.
I'll offer a small rebuttal to Fitz's thing. I think you can, at least in good conscience, defend the idea behind most of the quote-unquote bad moves we've made the last few years. Like Mookie, if you want to say he was going to go to free agency, you want to get something for him, sure, the return sucks, but I'm saying the idea
I am still of the belief that if they negotiated seriously, he would have re-signed here. But there is, he was never going to re-sign, but like, I'm not going to get into that again. There's no use getting into the weeds with that, but continue.
Thanks. And then letting Xander walk, you could say, that's probably not a guy that's going to age super well. And even he's kind of was on a downward spiral.
Yeah, they were never going to match that 11-year deal. I understand.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm saying even if you want to do like if you do believe the thing, like he would have signed for 6 years or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, there is if you want to, you can convince yourself a lot of their less emotional moves the last few years do have like some reason behind them.
Sure.
We've come to Rafael Devers, who is 26 years old. The best, like one of the best pure hitters in the league.
Right now,
He can actually play defense now, which he couldn't.
He's at worst, the third best shortstop in baseball? You'd probably say J-Ram 1,
he's
and
a third baseman,
Machado 2, and then probably Devers 3 right now.
I'd probably.
I'm just talking like pure fact in terms of like a guy that you'd want in your franchise. I'd probably
I'd probably have Arenado. still
Yeah,
above him, I think.
Same.
Especially after this last year. Also, complete side note: whoever told Arenado not to opt out should be shot in the face. That man, that man, I can't fathom how much money he left on the table this offseason.
He's still really good too.
If I was his agent, I would never show my face again. That's mind blowing that he opted in. I don't care how much. I don't care if he loved St. Louis. That is one of the craziest decisions to me ever. Anyway, Devers is 26. It does not sound like he's being unreasonable, like what they've said he wants. Most of your fan base fucking hates you right now. Like, this is the most slam dunk long-term contract you could possibly be in the position to give out. Like, you're not paying anybody past, well, they signed Yoshida, so I guess him. But, Whitlock is signed for a little while, but he makes peanuts. And then Yoshida, that's your payroll in 2 years, right? I don't think there's anybody past that.
Yeah.
It's just get your head out of your ass. I don't know. Be serious. I always say this, but be serious. But it's not.
I think.
You know what? I'm gonna go on the rant. It's not that hard to be a GM. It's not. Listen, we have so much information at our hands. You don't have to guess but you don't have to guess at all anymore. Like, what kind of guy this is, what's he good at, what's he bad at. It is all there for you. It should not be this hard to build a roster. I don't know if Heim. Well, then there was the thing in the article. I think it was the June.
Oh, where he just takes too long to make decisions.
Yeah, he waits too long. What are you, a fucking idiot? I mean, that's how is that a real issue? A president of baseball operations staff oh, I'm nervous. I don't know. What the fuck?
It's not it sounds like he's going around asking everybody oh, what do you think about this move?
Yeah, he just wants ultimate approval. I don't know.
He's talking to the guy selling peanuts.
Do it or don't.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of sounds like a little sensationalist.
Too many cooks. Too many
to me,
cooks, though,
I don't know if that's true, and it very well could not be. But if it is, that is not a good look, because, I mean, think about how fast that second day at the winter meetings moved, or third day, whatever day, a ton of guys signed. It's could we have been in on those guys if Heim took his hand out of his pants? What's going on here, guys? I'm being serious. Is this that is so awful if you're the guy making the decisions is nervous or needs 10 guys in the office to sign off on. That is one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, and again, he's sitting here, he's doing the same fucking song and dance he did with Xander. It's Devers is so instrumental to what we're doing here on this team. He's the centerpiece. He's like George Lucas with Jar Jar, saying, Rafi's the key to all this.
He's the key to all of this.
I know that he can't really say anything else, but it is I've heard it 3 times. I'm all set,
Yes,
I get it. They're good players. Yes, we should keep them.
Boy who cried wolf with this shit, man.
Want
and again, if you don't figure this out, again, I think this comes back to my overall point. It's just another example of them being unable to identify a good. I wrote this in the blog last week. The inability to identify a good thing when they see one. And again, these things. Again, you can talk about, the sentimentality behind a move or why it should be strictly based on value. I understand if you would think that, but when you're not, when you inherit a team with Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, and Rafael Devers, and they're all potentially gone by the end of your tenure,
and you have Alex Verdugo and 2 4th-round picks to show for it.
Yeah, how are you?
And Connor Wong.
Yeah, how are you building any sort of a culture that people want to follow long term? Right? How are you drumming up any of that interest? And I think that generally means what it means. It's not strictly transactional and not strictly things that are being played in between the lines.
And let me continue my little rant here, if you will.
Go ahead.
When they signed Heim, or hired him, and you had the Facebook Red Sox fans or whatever being like, "Oh, Tampa Bay North" or whatever. I wish it was Tampa Bay North.
Tampa Bay saw
Tampa Bay we stink. I wish it was Tampa Bay North. They paid Franco at least.
I was going to say, Tampa Bay recognized that they have someone that they want to build around and actually walk the walk instead of just talking the talk.
Oh my God. I fucking wish we were Tampa Bay North.
Is the guy you want to build around Trevor Story? Like, again, I don't think that was a bad signing. I'd like Trevor Story. I think he's getting a lot of shit right now from the fallout of the Bogart stuff, which I get to an extent. But he's a solid enough of a player, right, Liam? It's not his fault. He didn't decide to let go of Xander Bogaerts, to not offer him that.
Maybe
that
he did. Heim probably asked him too if he agreed with that.
Trevor Story came in with a baseball bat and two mob henchmen, be like, this guy's gone. Heim, you hear me? Look at me in the eye.
Trevor, what do you think?
Trevor goes into his guy. It's like Caddyshack. He calls him Moose and Rocco. Like, we're gonna go into that office and tie him. I don't know, boss. Do you think this is gonna work, Trev? Trust me.
I think what bothers me the most is, like, when was the last time we heard John Henry or Tom?
Don't even get me fucking started.
It's February 2020 was the last time they spoke.
So we're
fucking
going on
coward.
3 years.
Yeah, we're going on 3 years. Yeah,
3 full calendar years.
Fucking coward.
If anybody, nah, I was gonna read John Henry's address. But
I think
Fitz, you can bleep it here.
Dox him.
It's
Frank
40 Cottage Street, Brookline, Massachusetts.
Jesus Christ. More editing.
I also have his Nantucket address if anybody wants that one.
But I just say something.
Say anything.
Have the nerve to say something.
Just come out and start a "Let's Go Red Sox" chant. Is that so much to ask?
That's all we need.
Listen, John can't be tasked with that. That's got to be Tom.
Yeah,
right?
That
is Tom's turf. All right.
Do we know as fans, like, the split of ownership, like who owns how much?
Well, it's got to be mainly Henry, right?
Well, that's why I'm asking. Like, it's funny because 20 years ago they were like the three-headed. It was like Henry, Lucchino, and Werner. It was like all three of them always. But now today, I mean, I know Lucchino's gone, but nobody really cares about Tom Werner anymore.
I was gonna say, on the flip side of that,
gets off scot-free.
That's on the flip side of that. Yeah, maybe he's just completely flying under the radar. You're writing Grinch articles about.
Maybe I'll write a Tom Werner article. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, right. You know what?
Yeah.
We are the fuck Tom. Everyone's gonna say fuck John Henry. We're the fuck Tom Werner.
We're not afraid to go there.
Podcast. We're not afraid to say that. All right. Did he just? It's all three of us with caution tape around our mouth. They're not afraid to attack the other billionaire involved with the Red Sox.
I think billionaire. You guys remember that Bill Simmons HBO commercial?
Yeah.
I think billionaires should build their own fucking pay for their own fucking stadiums.
House, I gotta say, I think they should pay for their own fucking stadiums.
At first.
How about? So I found out today that report that FSG wants to buy an NBA team.
Right. Well, we kind of knew that though, right?
Well, I mean, we know that, but apparently, like the report that blew up on Twitter from that Liverpool outlet, like Simmons just mentioned it in passing on a podcast. Like there's just substance behind it. He was just like mentioned it offhand.
It seems like kind of a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, smoke and fire.
We know they want an NBA team.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, boys. That's what they except with the Red Sox in this offseção. Seems like there's smoke on everybody, and there's been 3 small fires.
The only fire that's going on is me lighting myself on fire. What's going on?
The only fire is the one I'm setting at 40 Cottage Street, Brookline, Massachusetts.
All right, that's gonna be worth the extra editing. That's gonna be fucking hell.
Don't ever let bro cook again.
Never, not once, not never.
But like, also, all right.
Yeah, but I'm excited for another 3 months of us saying pay Devers, and then on March 30th we can all go trade Devers. That'll be fun.
And then in September of 2023, maybe we're going to be able to extend Devers.
Maybe
we're back here around Thanksgiving.
We won't.
He's going to look so good in those Mets all black.
I mean, he's going to the Mets, right?
I
feel like that
a
is the
Devers
most
black Mets jersey. So
I'm buying.
Giants,
Well, I'd be a Mets fan.
We basically are. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a pro Mets podcast.
It is. This is a pro Mets podcast because you know what? They have an owner. He's obviously that is the most extreme example. But they have an owner who likes to throw the cash around a little bit. And Who
genuinely likes baseball, I think.
God, they deserve it, don't they? The Mets fans. They really do.
They've been going
I'm not sure there's a fan base who deserved it more. If
Could you imagine
an owner like Cohen was going to come in?
Could you imagine if like the '04 team happened in this age of baseball? Like, okay,
Elaborate.
no, I'm just saying, like, oh, you break a nearly 100-year curse. That David Ortiz guy, though, he's gonna want to ask for a lot of money.
I mean, the
Yeah, right?
16 Cubs kind of did that.
They kind of did that. They did. Like,
Yeah,
they
let everyone. Is there a soul left from that roster? I mean, I know that's 6 years ago.
In terms of like the main core, no.
No.
I mean, that's.
Nobody.
I always thought them letting Rizzo go was very strange.
That's
I mean, if you're just going to
season.
blow it all up, it makes sense.
I guess,
Then
but
again,
it's not like. Well, they're paying money already. It's not like that was only 2 years ago. No, that was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would have kept
Yeah,
Rizzo around. I would have traded everybody else, but Rizzo was like the guy. That always surprised me that they were so willing to
Even
just
with
kinda
Dansby, why, if you're a Cubs fan, are you going to be attached long term with this current core right now? They're clear, like he had it there, and I understand, waves like that come and go.
Ricketts
but
is actually worse than Henry. People forget.
Oh, that man
Right.
sucks.
Yeah.
He's a monster too, like an
He
evil man.
is.
no, that guy
Yeah.
sucks.
No, he's
Yeah,
not
big
good.
time.
Not
Yeah.
a good guy.
No,
Quite
What kind of
frankly,
what kind of long term culture is being built at Fenway right now? What kind of long term culture is being built?
There
with this
isn't
team?
one.
There's none.
One of-
there's
one
no
of poop.
plan in the first place. So how could you build a culture for for the long haul without any semblance of a plan whatsoever?
On a lighter note, when it comes to building a culture, think about how fun it was last night when we were watching the Bruins win, and like those.
That's
like,
a culture.
Like, there's a culture there between like the Bruins and Bruins fans.
well,
and Celtics
listen, for
and
all the
Celtics
Bruins'
fans,
faults, for all
And
the
there have
Bruins'
been
faults,
Oh,
even
there
this
are
year.
plenty.
they've
and
been
there's
faults.
there
many.
are plenty.
They do keep like they got their guys and they
They
paid
got
them
the
and they kept
fellas.
them around.
You identify a core, right?
Yeah, I mean, and this, I struggle to give that front office a lot of credit, but
No, I mean you shouldn't. But at the same
the
time,
fact
it's like,
that the Bruins had that core like that come up at once and they all kind of took sweetheart deals. That's like a very
Rare.
unique situation,
Yeah.
but even so, I mean, they have the best culture in the NHL. Everybody says that. It's this locker room that Chara and then Bergeron have kind of curated, and it's
But
cool.
even-
Cool to have that, and they're
Even
good
just
this year.
in the sport. Again, we just mentioned like the Rays know that Wander is their core. Tatis is the core of the Padres originally. There's rumors he's going to be traded to the Yankees. I don't buy it, but you have Acuna. I mean, they got him at a sweetheart deal, but Acuna and Albies being locked in with the
The
Braves.
Braves.
Oh my God.
Who? You
The
can say that about that
Braves
whole
fans?
fucking roster.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
the Braves fans like shitting on Mets fans for spending money is
Very funny.
It blows my mind.
yeah.
I'm like,
I'll never mock a team. I'd mock a team for giving out like a bad contract, you know.
Sure.
But I wouldn't mock a team like on the base of spending money. Like they should do that.
every
It's
team
funny
should.
when a team
Every-
gives out a horrible
yeah.
contract. That's funny.
I mean, it's great contracts for a guy like I'm just trying to think.
But like, why?
Chris
like,
Davis,
why,
or
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, good for him.
why-
I mean, that's a terrible
Yeah.
contract, but it's good that they spent the money, I guess.
and it's like, why are you as a Braves fan like celebrating the fact that
Yeah, you should
your
want
owner's
your
saving
team
money?
to spend
You should
as
ask
much
them
money
to
as
go
possible.
out and spend $80 million on Justin Verlander.
Yeah.
because they're not paying anybody else.
You guys ever think about how peculiar it is the Blue Jays payroll isn't even higher? Like the fact that the Rogers Corporation owns them. They like run Canada.
it's a pretty cool gig. Good work if you can get it.
No, but I mean, but they're
I know
like
what you
they're
mean,
like
though.
yeah, like they should. I mean, they should be spending like the Mets.
Is that
General Manager Justin Trudeau, basically.
No, but I'm being serious. Like I've always. I mean, I guess they're probably gonna have to when
the Canadian
Vlad
dollar?
gets his-
it doesn't
when
stack
Vlad
up.
gets his bag and if they pay like Bichette or whatever. But I don't know.
I don't know. If I'm those guys, I would. You'd be an idiot not to hit free agency if you were 26, 27.
I think Bichette's actually horribly overrated, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't- I
Low
don't think
key.
he's-
I think he's a pretty solid player, but I think he is. Not to say that he can't reach his hype sort of a status, but yeah, he's kind of like.
I saw
know.
a
He's
tweet
got the
once that was
looks.
like,
He's got the
I saw a tweet
looks.
once that was like,
Does
if he had a
have-
buzz cut, he'd be on the bench.
Kind of true.
Hey, swagger gets you those starts. I mean, that's
True. Hey, look good,
Sorry.
feel good, play good.
Again,
Yeah.
he's still coming into form as well. Not progress
Oh,
isn't
never mind.
linear for all sorts of players. You know what I mean? He's still 24 years old.
I take my Bo Bichette slander back.
Bobichet's only 24.
Yeah, he's horrible
Wow.
defensively though. He can't play.
Very
Yeah,
bad.
that's what. Hey, you know what? Sounds like we might need a second baseman soon. So
Bo, you're gonna love Boston.
Gene Segura,
Your dad loved
welcome
it.
to Boston.
Oh God, don't even get me started.
Dante.
When Bo connects, he fucking ropes the ball, but there's some holes in his swing. He's not great defensively as a shortstop.
Bo looks literally
play, though.
nothing like his father.
It's the hair.
Whoever.
Well,
Even Dante had a bit of flow, didn't he? Looking at his Rockies days.
I don't know, but no disrespect to Dante Bichette, but Bo's mother must be very beautiful.
Could be.
Dante was.
You just called
not-
Dante beat on this show.
Dante was not a looker.
Dante beat Chet.
But like Bo's like a handsome guy, right?
Yeah, Bo's handsome.
Maybe
I
not
mean,
with a buzz cut.
maybe it is the hair that's fooling us. It's
Yeah,
fooling
I'm
all
not.
of us.
Again, no disrespect.
We
to
all fell
Dante,
for it.
but he's a weird looking cat.
Bo's hair trick y'all. But at least the Blue Jays are going to have young players that they can identify. Like, okay, this is what we want to build around for the next
maybe
decade.
not.
And they'll pay.
We don't know
Maybe
yet.
not. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I mean,
maybe
you-
they're
you'd
dumb
think
too.
the Red Sox would keep young talent around, but
Yeah,
don't know.
you think, Liam?
you'd think somebody
You'd
would
think, wouldn't you?
A team with that much money.
Just sorry. Adding to my thing, like who's gonna give a shit about this team in 2024 if you come off another mediocre season in Devers walking?
No one to answer
there-
your question, but continue.
Just to elaborate on it even more, especially knock on wood, if the Bruins and Celtics keep this up, like that's they
You're
not
toast.
not that all the Boston sports teams are like pitted against each other.
they're not competing
but it is
against
like
each other.
it's sort of a cyclical thing. Like
Yeah, I mean, there's a
people care
hierarchy.
about one more than the other, and it moves. And it's
Yeah.
if they're both two of the best teams in their respective leagues. If they go on runs, like Fenway will be empty for April, May, June.
May and June, yeah.
Like no one. What is there to go there and be excited about?
And then it's like you think about it. If they have a terrible first half too,
Oh, they're cooked.
no one's coming to the second. half
They have to win like 20 games in the first like
in April.
30. Yeah. Yeah, honestly.
Like,
I mean, I don't even maybe not
17 and
20,
2.
but I can't yeah, if they
Because
come out of the
again,
gate stinking
what
it
are
up.
you gonna what are you giving your fans to care about? You know what I mean? Again, it's I feel like I'm
it's bad.
repeating myself with
It's
that.
bad.
But
It's bad.
I think that's my overall point with it not being transactional.
It's like if you pay Devers, you can at least keep up this illusion that you care.
Right. Identify someone that you can build around.
One guy. That's all
One.
I ask.
One.
Three
had
would have
three.
been nice, and
And the whole-
heck,
and the whole
two would
thing
have been
with,
pretty
like,
cool too. But I'll take the
The
one.
whole thing when Mookie was gone, not to keep bringing it back to that, but it was like, well, at least we can still lock down the left side of the infield. At least we have that. If they choose that over the right fielder, maybe people could live with that.
In hindsight, the fact that we believe that was why did
God,
what?
Boo boo the fool.
Why?
It's me. Put it on the clown.
Fool me once. Fool me, can't get fooled again.
You remember like 4
Old
or
saying in
5 months
Texas.
ago when we were dreaming about an infield of Devers, Bogarts, Story, and Cassis?
I do.
Now it's gonna be-
I'm on the Willie Adamas. I'm gonna ride that
I'm
until
with-
it's in the ground.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Now a year from now, it's going to be Casas, Story, Turner, and VR.
Jonathan VR.
That's what the fucking team's going to do. You're going to do something like that.
I don't know. Meyer will be up like halfway
yeah,
through
24, I
next
guess,
year,
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
2024. Yeah. Brutal
better be fucking
couple of
good.
weeks for that kid. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Again, not
my
his
God.
fault.
Not his fault, and he seems like a fine young gentleman. But that's
Jeter,
a
none
tough-
of this is Jeter Downs' fault. It's just, it's the team officially admitting that they lost the Mookie trade. And it's not his fault. Wish him
My
well.
thing is like they were never going to win the trade. They just weren't. Like that's like to me, I feel like I've come to accept
They would-
it.
no,
They created no market for themselves to get
Yeah,
rid of
they had no
a
leverage.
top
Yeah,
three
they
player
fucked
in
it up.
baseball.
No, Liam, I agree that they would never win it, but if you do peel it back to like that they were only training 1 year of Mookie, God, just a second decent starter would have been nice. Like
get
two
something
useful guys
instead of just a meh corner outfielder. Verdugo is
Yeah.
like,
They almost gave Dustin May to the Orioles for 50 games of Manny Machado in 2018. Like
Dustin May in this rotation would
you
have been
tell
great.
me we couldn't prize a guy like that.
Why didn't we wait until the deadline? Now that
I think that would
feel
that
like
would have
teams
fucked us even more.
teams
I think.
start getting desperate at the deadline.
It's easy to go back in, say
No, but
hindsight's 2020
no,
with that.
yes, I agree,
Yeah.
but I'm just thinking of like big.
You're
why
completely
was it
self-sabotaging
rushed?
yourself by not giving yourself, enough of a market for demand for a guy like that.
Yeah,
Dustin May.
I think this is the most.
Dustin May was
This is the
included
most
in-
we've ever talked about the Red Sox on this podcast.
Yeah, right. We
Yeah,
we really haven't riffed
the
about it.
first
We're
4
coming up
minutes
on an hour, and
aside.
I think we've done like 45 minutes about the Red Sox. That's pretty good.
Yeah, right. So, sorry to Vox for giving us something
Sorry
other
to-
than what we've advertised before.
Yeah, right. If it wasn't for that John Ratzenberger,
Yeah, we'd be
it's-
strictly talking sports on this one. We're only doing
Yeah.
sports on this show.
Did you guys see it was the 3-year anniversary of Rise of Skywalker?
There we go.
did.
That's it.
yeah, I'm done. I'm done with the. I got worked up. I'm all set on the
Yeah,
Sox.
I feel like that was a good. We all vented for a bit.
Yeah, I think that's what we needed. I think I
Right
think
before the
I
holidays.
needed that too. I feel that's a weight
situation
off.
critical right now, but
I needed that to have
We
a
did-
good holiday.
we did. Yeah, we didn't really have much of an agenda.
I was building
anyway,
up
but-
inside of me, and I was gonna be all tense on Christmas.
now I can like make myself some hot cocoa. Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch
I'm
Liam in
Soph
Rudolph.
and I just started Saving Private Ryan. We're gonna finish it. Well, she didn't like the limbs getting blown off and stuff.
Is that our first
Yeah.
time seeing Saving Private Ryan?
It is
One of my favorite movies. I know that's it's
one of the best.
It's great.
like the I could go on about that movie. It's the way it's shot. I mean, Spielberg completely in his bag with that movie. The best war movies are anti-war. That movie is still powerful to this day. It's a
Thank you, Fitz.
great film.
Hats
Very,
off
very
to
good.
you, Fitz.
Not as good as Shakespeare in Love, though.
Fitz, thank you for
Academy.
your service.
Thank you. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Hats off to heroes. It's
Hats
me
off
on the
to
hero.
Fitz.
Someone in the cars listening saying "Stolen Valor" by Fitz right now. No. But yeah, now with this off my chest, again, cuddle myself up, put on Charlie Brown Christmas, and we can have a nice little holiday coming up here.
Yeah.
Um,
I really hope my family didn't get me anything Red Sox related. It'll be like
Send it back.
Fuck.
Send it
Neither of
back.
you watch The Sopranos. Fuck.
I haven't
But it'll
finished
be
this-
for our listeners. It'll be like the scene when Tony gets the big mouth Billy Bass from Meadow on Christmas, and he gets PTSD to killing pussy. That's gonna be like me if I get any Red Sox
I don't-
stuff. I'll just be staring at it like.
Listen. I said this
1,000-yard
I
stare.
said this at the Garden last night. I've been on Twitter long enough where I've basically seen.
Do you
the
know what I'm
entirety of The
referencing?
Sopranos. Yes, I do know it. Yes.
Okay, well, if I receive any Red Sox paraphernalia, that it'll be like that. I should tweet that actually.
That's a good tweet. Dude,
I'll
anything
tweet that
Sopranos related does numbers on Twitter.
It's true. Twitter loves The Sopranos.
They kill.
I
it
love The
kills.
Sopranos, and I love Twitter.
This is gonna get me yelled at. I understand. It's in the neighborhood of Office territory, all right, we get it. You like the
All
Sopranos.
right, that's enough. Pot
It's
over.
come-
Pot over. Shut it down. We'll see. We'll see after Christmas.
But Jake, he spilt the chili. Kevin brought in the chili, and he spilled. Do you understand this?
I get. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Watch your mouth.
Heim
though, Fitz.
spilled the chili.
Watch your mouth.
Tony's sick of this shit. All right, I don't know if you knew that. He goes to the therapist and says, "I've had it with this shit." I don't know if you knew
Is this
that.
all there is?
Yeah. Right. Rise of Skywalker, though.
I'm not doing anything
Claude.
with Rise of Skywalker. Sorry.
Claude.
I can't go to
Is
that
it
well.
Claude or Cloud? Who's the slug?
I think it's Claude.
I've just called him Slug. Live Slug reaction.
Yeah,
Live
live
Slug.
Claude reaction.
Him and Babu Frick, the only saving grace.
Babu Frick was cool.
Well, I hope all our listeners have a great Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa
Tip top tet.
Winter solstice.
and a great
Ooh.
winter. Isn't that tomorrow?
Solemn and
Yeah,
dignified
that's
Ramadan.
exciting.
Yeah, and a great winter solstice.
Days are
The
gonna get longer.
day you're listening to it is the first day of winter.
Liam, I think you're wrong. Actually,
What did Liam say?
the days
There's
are
more
going to get
sun-
longer.
there's
Oh, the
more
days are
sunlight.
going. Yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
days are going to get longer. Yes, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yes.
This is the lowest the sun gets tomorrow, or today when you're
Yeah.
listening to this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Today, which makes sense for this episode. That's fitting.
Yeah, the sun's getting real low.
It's darkest just before the dawn.
Yeah, except it's not.
Shohei Ohtani, you are a Boston Red Sox.
I mean this with all sincerity. Even if it's if it costs Meyer, even if it costs like Bayo or something like that.
Do it.
If Chaim gets Shohei Ohtani, which he's not going to, this is purely
Well, but no, but
speculative.
I wouldn't trade for Ohtani right now.
I think the slate is cleared. I think like if they get him, extend him. Like okay,
sure.
you identified
I would trade for Ohtani if you got like the sign and trade thing.
Yeah, okay, you identify Shohei Ohtani as the guy you want to build around. I can accept that. Be like, okay,
Sure.
fine. All right, I've been
Makes sense.
screaming for
You got
45
me.
minutes on here about
You
yeah,
got
right,
me.
yeah. At that point, it's Shaq. I wasn't familiar with your game.
Yeah.
My duest apologies to John Henry. No, I'll never apologize to that prick.
Do I have? Well, I don't think that'll happen, and I don't think anything good will happen.
Of course
in the
not. It's
foreseeable future.
speculation.
So that's where we're
it's
at.
speculation. So
Yeah.
we're just destined to we're all destined to sadness and doom and gloom for this next season, and it doesn't even matter because one day the sun's gonna explode and kill everyone and everything hundreds of millions of miles in its path. So with that, have a great holiday.
Yep. We're due for an extension event, so.
Yeah, when was the last time that Yellowstone blew up?
It's been a minute.
I used to cry about that when I was a little kid. I saw a thing on like Nat Geo or something about it.
Go no.
Mom, we're fucked!
Yeah, and I like sobbed. I was like, "Are we
Billions
is this
of
it?
years
Is it?
from
I was like,
now.
"Mom, is it over?"
She
gonna
looked in your
die.
eyes and said, Jake, it's Jover. And you said, who's Joe?
Joe Conda forever.
Yellowstone Conda forever. What's the one in Seattle?
Mount Rainier.
That one is...
Oh, Brandon Drury went to the Angels.
Why? Why would he do that?
No, that's a good lineup, dude. I hate to say it.
Fuck that.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson about the Angels? It doesn't matter how
he
good
only
the
got
lineup...
2 years 17.
2 years 17 for Drury after the year he had?
That is dirt.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Why did he take that?
He maybe realized like it was a Mickey Mouse season for him. He's like,
Well, it wasn't though.
I'm done, man. I
He's
gotta
been
cash
good
out.
3 years in a row. 2 years in a row. 3 years.
He was great this past
kind
year.
of.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize how little he played in 20 and 21. Well, 20
Yeah, I
makes
didn't
sense,
either.
But
Yeah, actually, maybe that was smart of him to snag that.
yeah. Get the bag.
I mean, 28 bombs. I mean,
He was great for fantasy, man. Positional flexibility. Just plug him in when you need him. Good enough for power.
all right. Well, with
Also, why did the Padres sign Matt Carpenter today for 2 years?
Did they need a lefty, like platoon guy?
I mean, I guess, but like, that feels like he was lightning in a bottle last year.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'm gonna go watch some Saving Private Ryan.
I'm gonna watch them.
I'm gonna finish Banshees. I started
Oh,
it
it's
last
great,
night,
isn't it,
too.
Liam?
That's very funny. I enjoy
Yeah.
it.
All right, well, boys, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Kwanzaa and Happy Winter Solstice. And if you believe in none of those, I mean, I don't know how you would believe or not in the Winter Solstice, but if you don't believe in any of those things, then just have a nice weekend.
Yeah, just do what you enjoy. Because watching the
Yeah.
Boston Red Sox will not be one of those things in the next couple months. So you might as well just enjoy this time.
Yep.
So, all right, we'll talk to you folks next week. Thanks again for listening. God, this team's gonna be so fucking bad, aren't they? God, they're gonna be so mid. Fuck.
Go watch Black Adam.
The 2023 Red Sox is just gonna be like, it's gonna be, hey, you want to go see Black Adam? It's like, is it a bad movie? I haven't
Yes.
seen.
Yes. Actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so it
Yeah,
actually is a bad
It's not-
movie.
Yeah. No, it actually is.
Okay.
What was his line? He said it's going to change the
It's good. The
power
hierarchy of
structure.
the DC universe is about to change.
The hierarchy of
So
the
the
aliens
hierarchy-
is about to change.
That's
It's
right.
actually about to stay the same.
That's our
Consider
motto
us.
for 2023.
All right, go Sox and happy holidays.